Society thrives on labels. It loves to put people into neat little boxes: extrovert or introvert, leader or follower, rule maker or rule breaker. But then there's the Sigma male, the man who doesn't fit anywhere, who doesn't follow the script, who walks a path so different that people can't even categorize him properly. And that unsettles people.
Why?
Because the world doesn't know what to do with someone who doesn't seek approval, doesn't conform, and doesn't need to be part of the system. A Sigma male is wired differently. He doesn't chase status, doesn't crave validation, and doesn't bow to the expectations that society forces on most men. And that makes him the furthest thing from normal. But let's be honest, who really wants to be normal? Normal is predictable. Normal is controlled. Normal is following trends, fitting in, and suppressing your real nature just to be accepted. A Sigma male is built to reject all of that, and that's why people fear him, misunderstand him, and even try to bring him down, because deep down, they know a man who doesn't need approval is a man who can't be controlled. 1. They don't follow the social playbook. From childhood, we're all handed a rule book on how to exist in society. Get good grades, get a good job, climb the corporate ladder, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire, and hope you lived a life that people will approve of. For most, this is the only way. They don't question it. They don't challenge it. They just follow along like it's gospel. But a Sigma male? He burns that rule book. He doesn't measure success by job titles, bank balances, or social status. He measures it by his own internal compass. And that confuses people because most people are deeply uncomfortable with the idea of stepping off the pre-approved path. It terrifies them to think that maybe life isn't supposed to be lived like a checklist. And yet, a Sigma male exists as proof that you don't have to follow the script. He's the man who skips the college degree and builds his own empire. The man who rejects corporate slavery and chooses financial independence. The man who walks away from shallow relationships and prioritizes self-mastery over empty validation. People call it rebellious. They call it unrealistic. They call him crazy. But deep down, they envy him. Because while they're stuck living a life they don't love, a Sigma male is out there writing his own story, without permission, without limits, and without fear. 2. They don't need validation from anyone. Take a look at the world today. It's obsessed with validation. Social media likes, comments, followers, approval from friends, approval from strangers. People are addicted to being seen, being praised, being told they matter. But a Sigma male? He doesn't play that game. He doesn't post to impress. He doesn't seek recognition. He doesn't need applause or approval from anyone. And that's where the world completely misunderstands him. Most people assume that if you're quiet, distant, or detached from social norms, it must mean you're struggling, that you're lonely, that you secretly wish you could be like everyone else.
Wrong.
A Sigma male doesn't isolate himself because he's lost. He does it because he knows exactly who he is. He's not out there fishing for compliments. He's not bending over backward to fit into a group. He's too busy living by his own standards. He doesn't care if you approve or not. 3. They value solitude more than attention. In a world that worships attention, where people chase likes, comments, and validation like it's oxygen, the Sigma male stands apart. He doesn't need the spotlight. He doesn't crave recognition. In fact, he's at his best when he's alone. This is where the world fails to understand him. While the average person fills every second with distractions, mindless scrolling, endless small talk, and chasing meaningless connections, the Sigma male thrives in silence. He sees solitude as a weapon, a tool for self-discovery, growth, and mental clarity. When he's alone, he's not wasting energy pretending to be something he's not. He's not performing for the world, trying to impress people who don't even matter. He's sharpening his mind, mastering his craft, and building something real. This mindset sets him apart from the rest. A normal man fears being alone because it forces him to confront himself, his thoughts, his weaknesses, his regrets. A Sigma male embraces it. He faces himself head-on, working through his demons instead of avoiding them. And here's what most people will never admit. Deep down, they wish they could do the same. They wish they had the strength to walk away from toxic friendships. They wish they had the discipline to sit with their thoughts. They wish they didn't need the approval of others to feel complete. The Sigma male doesn't wish. He chooses. He chooses peace over noise, quality over quantity, depth over superficiality. And that's why people don't understand him, because he's not playing the same game as everyone else. 4. They intimidate people without trying. Some men try hard to look intimidating. They puff out their chest, flex their status, and make sure everyone knows just how powerful they are. Sigma males don't. And yet, they're still the ones people fear the most. Why? Because real intimidation isn't about muscle, wealth, or power. It's about presence. And a Sigma male has that in ways most men never will. It's in his silence, his unshakable confidence, the way he carries himself like he doesn't owe the world a single explanation. He doesn't react like most men. He doesn't jump to prove himself. He doesn't need to engage in pointless social battles, and that drives people insane. Most people expect a reaction. They expect arrogance to be met with arrogance. They expect an insult to be met with another insult. They expect dominance to be met with submission. But when a Sigma male just stares back, unmoved, that's when people start to feel uncomfortable. This is why others label him as dangerous, because his silence isn't weakness, it's control. He's not avoiding conflict because he's scared, he's above it. He understands something most people don't. True power doesn't need to be announced. 5. They don't fear being the outcast. Most people will do anything to avoid being outcast. They'll suppress their opinions. They'll tolerate toxic relationships. They'll bend, twist, and reshape themselves just to fit in because the thought of standing alone, of not being accepted, that terrifies them. But a Sigma male? He welcomes it. Because unlike the rest of the world, he understands something most people never will. Belonging at the cost of your identity isn't belonging at all. He knows that fitting in usually means sacrificing who you really are. It means playing by rules that don't make sense, agreeing with things you don't believe in, and surrounding yourself with people who don't even truly know you. And that's why he walks away. Not because he's bitter, not because he's broken, not because he's incapable of socializing, but because he refuses to be anything less than himself. And that kind of mindset, that kind of self-respect, that's rare. Most people will never understand why the Sigma male doesn't beg to be included, why he doesn't chase friendships, why he doesn't force himself to belong where he isn't valued. But here's the truth. He doesn't see rejection as a loss. He sees it as a filter. A filter that removes the fake, the shallow, the meaningless. A filter that leaves only the people and experiences that actually matter. Conclusion. People spend their entire lives trying to fit in, trying to be accepted, trying to be normal. But a Sigma male? He walks the other way. And that's what makes him powerful. Because while everyone else is trapped in a cycle of approval seeking, he's out there living on his own terms. Not because he's broken, not because he's lost, but because he understands something society never taught you. The most powerful man in the world is the one who doesn't need anyone's permission to be himself. And if that makes him abnormal, then so be it. If you resonate with this, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this, because the world needs more who aren't afraid to be different. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.